Somebody said, not so long ago, under the Tories, don't be sick, don't be old, don't be unemployed, don't be anybody who will have to depend on somebody else. And that made me think, and I'm going to call this the Orange Dystopia, coming soon. You know, I've rather got to like orange, especially since Donald Trump and the Democratic Unionist Orangeman Party. I've already talked about the future being bright, the future being orange. Let me give you something rather more frightening for what I think is going to be my future. 59 years old now. Let's look ahead, if I make it, to 69 years old. Very big caveat there. If I make it. Not necessarily because of any illnesses that I've got or my own health, but purely because of the growing orange dystopia, the conducts. So what's it going to be like? 10 years from now, 2 Tory governments away. Let's look at what I think will happen in that time. Yeah? Depressing, I know. Can hopefully be prevented, I would stress, if we somehow or another manage to elect Labour and Jeremy Corbyn. Yeah, can be prevented, can be stopped. But let's look at post-Brexit, 10 years away, and let's look at me. If I have been lucky enough to survive, you'll find me and my wife, who is 10 years my junior, most likely living in a tent or under a flyover, or possibly somewhere where we're not living now. As you find us both, you'll find us with less possessions, yeah? You know, I always thought that perhaps it would be good to be a bit more sort of Gandhi-like and cast all my possessions away. But that'll mean you'll find us with probably only one set of clothes to stand up in. You'll find those clothes are very dirty. You'll probably find us living under this flyover somewhere. You'll probably find us a bit smelly. The other thing you'll probably find us with is illnesses that are no longer being managed or treated. Now let me highlight that one, okay? Because it won't be long in the next 10 years that the NHS has completely gone. Yeah, it won't be there anymore. Now I know many people of my age, and even younger than me, of course, including my own children, have grown up with the NHS free at the point of clinical need. Yeah, you've grown up not having to pay to visit your GP, not having to pay for a heart operation, not having even to pay for any kind of NHS therapy, not even if you're disabled like we are, not even prescription charges. The way the NHS will disappear is really quite clear. First, it will go to sort of a 2-tier system. Yeah, if you are willing to pay a little bit, you don't have to wait 3 weeks to see your doctor. You can see them in 1 week. And then after the 2-tier system, yeah, everything will just be privatised. If you can afford, as obviously we're not going to be able to afford, the private medical insurance, fine. Virgin and its doctors and its company will take care of you. Yeah. So one of the things that's going to affect me greatly in these next 10 years, if it doesn't actually just kill me, is no NHS. So, I don't know, imagine the diabetic ulcers on my feet. Imagine me prodding around because the retinopathy has now continued, it's not been treated. I'm virtually blind, but I can just about scrabble in the discarded tins and stuff that we might manage to get from the back of a supermarket somewhere. I might have a box of matches that we can light something with to boil a can of, I don't know, soup in its can, yeah? But I probably won't see the flames, and I'll probably set my sleeping bag on fire, yeah? Why will that have happened? Well, very shortly, people who are literally declared, I don't know, shall we say they're declared fit to work, yeah? Let's say, even though serious mental illness, serious physical illnesses, let's say we've all been declared fit for work, because this is happening already, right? We've all passed the work capability assessment. My mentally ill wife also has passed the work capability assessment. We have hands, fingers, ears, mouths, noses, eyes. We can move, and if you can move, you can work because you can move. Look at this man moving. He should be working. Move, move, move. You can work, right? So, we will have been forced into some job that we cannot possibly mentally and physically sustain. We will then have been sacked, yeah? And then after the 6-week, the 8-week, the 12-week benefits wait, we won't have paid any rent, we'll be thrown out of our house. That's where we end up on the streets, yeah? No NHS as well, so no accommodation, no NHS, no registered GP because there's no permanent address, perhaps occasionally turn up to casualty in diabetic coma or something, if there's anything like that existing. Or maybe we got lucky and there was a charity clinic that will see us every 2 weeks or every month and give us a little bit of insulin to get by as we both take insulin. Now let's take it a little bit further into the orange dystopia that I will see. Yep. Let's look at civil rights, human rights. Which ones are going to go? Yep. They've already started on it. Yeah. Trade unions will eventually be banned. Just like any dictatorship, they ban trade unions. Hitler banned them. The trade unionists will be arrested. They're already being gagged, gagging orders on what we can say, what we can't say, whether we're allowed to demonstrate, whether or not we have a case, or whether or not the employer is right. Don't worry, no more trade unions. They're gone. Yeah? Already, prison officers aren't allowed to strike, right? All of the public services will not be allowed to strike. There will be no doctors striking, no firemen striking, no ambulance men striking. There will be nobody in the public sector, even down to the workers at what might remain of the job centre. None of them are allowed to strike. Yeah? And of course, slowly that will be extended to people in any job. If you strike, you can be sacked, other people can be brought in to do your job, because the economy must survive. Britain is so important we cannot afford strikes. Yeah. Okay, next one that I'm pretty sure will be gone by then. It's already been taken away in increments. Yeah. There'll be no appeal to trial by jury of your peers. It'll start off with just everything being judged by magistrates, and then the magistrates will delegate their functions down to the senior police officers, and then they'll delegate that down to the desk sergeant, and he'll delegate it down to some potential constable in charge who just has a hearing and decides if you're guilty or not, and probably decides on the punishment as well. So you can be pretty sure that unless you're rich, and here's one caveat that will happen in the next 10 years, everything remains the same if you're rich, Yeah, if you're rich, nothing will change. Everything will be the same. It'll be even better, right? But forget it for trial by jury. I won't have any. Yeah, I'm likely to get arrested and sentenced to penal servitude because I said something about the current Prime Minister. I won't be allowed to say anything because we'll be living in a police state. Next one you'll see, I guarantee they're starting on it already. The internet freedom that you now have won't exist. Everything you ever put online will be monitored, will be available to the dystopians that are in charge. In this dystopian future, everything will be stored by them. Another one that's going to come quite clearly. Yep. By then, microchipped. Don't worry about all the biblical stuff and all the Christian stuff, and that's a little rubbish. Yeah. Everybody will take the implant. Even by then, I will have been forced to have the implant. Policemen will just go along and go, oh, record, yeah. Doesn't register. Ooh, suspicious. Politico. Arrest. Yeah. That's coming. I absolutely guarantee it to you. That is coming. Talking of Orange, well, the relationship with the Great Orange One, of course. The relationship with the Great Orange One, the special relationship with us and the States, with us and Donald, that will have blossomed. May and Donald will have been hand in hand, deeply in love for years and years during this decade. Yeah, they will have been so in love. Yeah, and if they haven't started a nuclear war that's pretty much wiped out most of the human race by then, believe me, it won't be long before they kick one off. Sorry to be so depressing, because I honestly don't know if I will be here in 10 years' time. I really don't know. I think my life and the lives of other, especially, and I cannot add this enough, especially sick, disabled, unemployed, weak, voiceless people. Our lives are the most in danger through this brutality that is being visited on our society by this, quote, government to make a lot of rich people even richer. So who knows? Let's hope it doesn't come true. Let's hope we fight back. Let's hope we get the Tories out. Let's hope people come to their senses and stop believing the crap they read in the Tory media constantly, because every time you believe in a little bit of that crap, yeah, you ensure a negative future for people like me. I've just been watching a video on a History Channel produced about the crimes of the Third Reich. Yep. I'm not trying to equate the two by any means, but the kind of mass murders they carried out, plenty of people still around to carry those mass murders out now. Loads of them. They'd absolutely love to. I guarantee there are right-wingers out there, maybe, I say maybe, even in the Tory party, if you told them disabled people, they want gassing, yeah? They get people to do it, I promise you. If you told them disabled people, they're a drain on society. Think of all that money they point at me, is taking from you that you could have in your bank balance, and you work hard for it. People like him are stealing it. Why don't you just gas him? Wouldn't take long. Society has gone so far to the right, it's frightening. And I tell you that. And I live in a state of fear. Yeah, I'm afraid. Was indeed built in the 50s, still going strong, still fighting. Let's make it better news, eh? Not worse.